Hello and good morning, everybody. Today is August 11th, 2018. A palindromic date, if you will. 81118. Whether you flip that date upside down, whether you read it backwards, it's all the same. 81118. Thanks to Zenith of the Alphas, one of our number experts, for pointing that out in the chat before the stream went live here. So today is Saturncast number 21. And if you're wondering what a Saturncast is, that's short for Saturday podcast. And, of course, 21 is a special number to Saturn because in reduction gematria, Saturn sums to 21. And if you're wondering what reduction gematria is, well, it's this chart that you can see here on the screen if you're watching live on YouTube or archived on my Gematrinator 85 channel. Also streaming live on Mixlr, both live and archived from my website, gematrinator.com. So here on this channel, I talk about the ancient practice of gematria, which is the language of numbers and letters. It's a very simple language. In the alphabetic order, we simply number the alphabet 1 through 26, A through Z. In this reduction method that I just showed you, every double-digit number is reduced to a single digit using the rules of numerology. So 1 through 9 is the same, but once you get to 10, the letter J, 1 plus 0 is 1, so J becomes 1. This goes all the way through Z, which is the 26th letter. 2 plus 6 is 8. So instead of adding 26 to the equation as you would in the alphabetic order, you only add 8. So that's why Saturn, using the alphabetic order, sums to 93. S is the 19th letter. We use that. 1 plus 9 equals 10, and then 1 plus 0 equals 1. So in reduction gematria, S is worth 1. So Saturn, number 21, here we are in the 21st podcast. Thought I'd mix things up a little bit. So this language of gematria, this is one of those things that's kind of occulted. This is secret information, ancient knowledge passed down through generations. Things like this generally aren't written down, but are passed, through stories, through lessons, through families. And one of the things that came up recently, I was on this podcast last week on Robert J. Morris' channel. That's Tiberius 1974 on YouTube. I was a guest on that with Young Decoder and Zach Hubbard. And we went ahead and talked about gematria and what we think is really going on and who's using it, what's responsible for what we're seeing. And when you look at Hollywood, you're noticing there's a lot of references to gematria. And if you actually stick around to the end of this podcast, I'm going to talk about the organic matrix and all these movies that mention gematria, how they seem to line up to my own numerology in my life as well. It's kind of spooky stuff. If you're interested in that kind of thing, like I said, stick around. That'll be at the end. But for the first time, I never saw this film before. This was a 2014 short film. It's only 26 minutes long. And it's called Gematria. We pronounce it Gematria, Gematria. Either way, they're all correct. Technically, if you write this word out in Microsoft Word, it recognizes it as a misspelling, even though this word is recognized in most actual dictionaries. So gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. And at the beginning of this short film, you'll notice there's an equation that's written below the word gematria. And notice how this is written here. 7 plus 5, G the 7th letter, E the 5th. The letter M is worth 30. And that's not the case, of course, in the alphabetic order, nor in extended gematria. That's the case in Jewish gematria. The letter M is worth 30, and this continues through the rest of the word. You realize they're using this Jewish cipher, which is based on the Latin alphabet, the one that's been around for many, many more hundreds, if not thousands of years than English. So isn't that interesting that this cipher that I often promote as perhaps the most significant, at least one of the most significant to this study, that's the one that's used at the beginning of this short film. So to me, this sort of validates my claim